Hello everybody, Jim here, welcome back. I've just returned home from school and sat down to my computer, opened up my Facebook, and saw a bunch of posts from friends of mine around YouTube regarding the partnership with YouTube being taken away from them and monetization status, or the ability to monetize videos taken away from them as well. And they posted the email they received explaining to them that if they, in the past year they didn't have enough views or enough subscribers, etc., and because of that, all of their monetization abilities are being taken away. And this was news to me because thankfully that's not an email I received. But there's some fear that I might in the future, and I guess I'll get into that in a bit. But wow, that's not something that I expected to see happening. I anticipated that there would be some kind of blowback because of all this Logan Paul nonsense. I mean, there were obviously things that happened prior to that had pretty widespread effects. But I was anticipating something was going to happen to the community at large. They had said that, Logan Paul was taken off of their preferred creators list or some other kind of, bullshit that doesn't really mean anything. He's still pocketing millions of dollars and whatever. The real punishment is coming down on all the little guys, I think. I was waiting for that community punishment to come. I guess you gotta call it a punishment because that's what it feels like. I see this going one of a couple of ways. I think the most likely scenario is it's not really gonna work out good for anybody. All those, you could argue that, hey, those little channels, how much money could they really be making? It's not enough to make a fuss over. But all of them combined, that's a nice little chunk of change for Google. I understand that it's a very wealthy corporation, but that's money that they could be making that they're not going to now. Each individual little channel not making very much, but they add up when you put them all together. And the fear is this, and that is, as a company, Google's #1 goal in this world is to make money. That's what they're gonna focus on. And how they make money with YouTube is, I believe, 100% from ad revenue, from the money they get by working with advertisers. And so, with the end goal of making as much money as possible, they're obviously gonna push and promote people that are getting views and that they're getting revenue from advertisers. And so by taking away smaller channels' ability to monetize their videos and collect ad revenue, they're essentially taking away their ability not just to make money for themselves, but also to make money for Google. So those people, I'm assuming, will not get any kind of push, no publicity, no recommendations from Google. They're just going to sit and stagnate. Potentially lots of smaller channels just walking away when there's no incentive. I know a lot of people say, I just do this because I enjoy doing it. It's a hobby, and it's fun, and etc. And that's certainly true for a lot of people, myself included. But at the same time, money is motivation. Even when it's just a small bit of money. Let's say your ads on your videos made you like $5 this month. Okay, that's $5. You're not really gonna do anything with that. You're not even gonna get it because AdSense doesn't pay out unless you have at least $100 in there. But the fact that you saw some kind of result from the work you did, you can see potential there. You can see the potential of maybe that $5 turning into however much, $500 or $5,000 if you apply yourself. So you see that potential, and when there's the potential to earn money, that's motivation. Money is a huge motivating factor. So even though this is a hobby for a lot of people, or a passion project, a labor of love, what have you, I guarantee any one of those people, if you said to them, well, how would you like to continue doing this, but then make money on top of that, they're going to say, yes, of course. And then you say, okay, well, here's like $5 for now, but if you really work hard and apply yourself, this $5, it's going to turn into a lot more money. And then they're off and running, and that's gone. So that tiny little sliver of money, that little result of your work that you get to see that pushes you to do more work, that's going to be gone for a lot of people, and that sucks. So that's either going to be a demotivating factor that compels a lot of people to just stop making content altogether. They're going to look at this as, well, I'm not valued. There's no potential for growth. I can make my videos all day long, but it's not going to get a push from YouTube. So, you know, more people are not going to see them, and there's no monetary incentive to do it. Especially like for channels that are just starting, if their sole purpose of having a YouTube channel is to make money, they want to become some kind of YouTube celebrity, something to that effect, knowing that they're not going to be able to make any money right now, that might be a demotivating factor to convince a lot of people to just not even give it a shot, because unless they hit like a certain threshold, which can be very difficult to do, mind you, something to the effect of like 1,000 subscribers within the past year, and the equivalent of like 4,000 days of viewing or something to that. Like that's actually quite a lot to achieve, especially if you're just starting out and you have no like reputation or no support whatsoever. That's actually can be a pretty tall order. So that could either be a very demotivating factor for a lot of people. I mean, again, there are still those people who don't give a shit about monetization. They make their videos just for fun, as a hobby, for a sense of community, for just the passion of what they're doing. They're going to be fine. I mean, they're not going to give a shit. They didn't give a shit about making any money to begin with, and they're not going to give a shit now. But the people that, if that promise of the potential of the ability to make money at some point was a motivating factor for them, that motivation is gone. Anyone just getting started might be disheartened by that and see that their motivation go as well. Or it could have the opposite effect for some people, having that, I guess that goal, you know, shown clearly, like you need this many subscribers, this many hours of viewing in order to start making money. That might work as a motivating factor for some people. Some people might take a look at that and say, okay, I need that much. How am I going to get that much? You know, it might push them to work harder because they're trying to reach some goal that's been set before them. So I think for the majority of people, it will be a demotivating factor, and for a minority of people, it will be a motivating factor. It'll be some kind of challenge set before them, but I think that's really only going to apply to the people who have the intention of making money to begin with, because there are some people that come on YouTube and that really is their end goal. They really study how to make content that will make them some money, that will bring in as many viewers as possible, that has an appeal to a wide audience. They're very methodical with the creation of their videos and the thumbnails and the tags they use and all that kind of stuff. So I think for people like that, whose only goal is to make money on YouTube, this may actually serve as more of a motivating factor. They might say to themselves, I want to make money, I can't until I reach that goal, so that's what we're pushing for. That could happen, but I think for the majority of people, it will have the opposite effect. It'll kind of demotivate them from making videos. And another fear is this, is that there's a threshold now, right? The certain amount of subscribers, the certain amount of views or hours viewed, that is set before us now. And like I said, I didn't receive that email. I guess I was lucky enough that my channel is for sure very small, but not quite small enough to be affected by this, but the fear is this: if they can kind of come up with numbers that might seem kind of arbitrary, when is the goalpost going to be moved again? Well, if and when will the goalpost be moved again? When will they say, okay, right now I have around 6,400 subscribers, and I don't know how many hours of viewing I got in the past year, but it was enough to keep me safe. But it wasn't that much more than what they have stated in that email. So what if in 6 months' time or a year from now, let's say a year from now, wishful thinking, I'm at like, I don't know, between 8,000 and 10,000 subscribers. What if the goalpost is moved, and now if you have under 10,000 subscribers or under this many views, they're taking the monetization away from you and eventually moving towards YouTube only being a space for people who are creating content professionally. What if the idea is that eventually only the big YouTubers remain, like, people with audiences of millions, and maybe they're trying to turn YouTube into more of a television station as opposed to a social media platform. That's a concern I have right now, that eventually they'll look at other smaller channels and say, okay, it's time for you to go to. You're not making us a great deal of money either, and so we're going to go ahead and cut the strings there. And I'm just wondering, like, how far can it go? It could be like worrying over nothing. It might not go any further than this. This policy might stay in place, but it never, the goalpost is never moved after this point. But I'm not 100% sure that that's gonna remain the case. But in any instance, to all the people that I know here on YouTube, and people I have been watching for years now, and I'm seeing that they get this email, and it's very, how do I describe the way that email reads? It doesn't read very well at all. It's very blunt and to the point, almost kind of, I don't know how to describe the wording of that email. Disheartening, maybe, impersonal, maybe even like a tad condescending. It was something to the effect of, well, your partnership's going to be terminated and you're not going to be able to use any monetization features or any of that stuff. But hey, on the bright side, you can still use our creator studio and, other things like that, which I don't know how many people do or do not use those. But, yeah, the wording of it could have definitely been a lot better. But yeah, to all of my friends here on YouTube that were making just a sliver of money, and they were going for that, that it keeps that brass ring in sight, and that was motivating you, and maybe now that that's being pulled away from you, I hope this doesn't affect your motivation to keep making content, because I enjoy watching your channels. To everyone that I subscribe to that has whatever, upward hundreds of thousands of subscribers, or just like less than 100. I hope this doesn't, because if you were doing this as like a passion project, I hope this doesn't stifle your passion to do it, because I enjoy coming home and watching YouTube. I enjoy being on that train on my way to school or back, whatever it is. I enjoy watching all of you YouTube content creators immensely. I really don't even watch TV anymore. I don't even really like Japanese TV very much. I watch you guys, and so I hope that this doesn't motivate you to stop. I hope the opposite happens. If you want to make some money, I hope this lights a fire under your ass, and you keep going. It's kind of lit a fire under mine, because they didn't go after me today, but I could be in their crosshairs sometime soon. And I wouldn't like that very much, because I'm not really making a lot of money here. I'd say every now and then I get cut a little slice, and I can pay a few utility bills, and I'm very appreciative to have that, and it is a motivating factor. But yeah, I hope it doesn't dishearten you guys. I hope it just makes you want to work harder, and it's shitty, but what can we do? We're not the CEOs of YouTube. But you know what? Take those monetization email things they just sent you, and cram them down their throats by making the next fucking $1 million idea on YouTube. I don't know. Like, I'm just rambling. I just sat down. I just got home from school and saw this shit, and I was like, oh my god. And I wanted to talk about it. Anyway, everybody, hey, let me know down in the comments what you think about this, and what you think the results are going to be. And if this affected you, I especially want to hear from you. I want to hear from my pals here on YouTube how you feel about this, and is this going to affect your future here on YouTube, and you know, what's the plan now. Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Again, this was not planned. This was me sitting down, looking at an email, and then quickly turning on my microphone, because I had a whole shit ton of thoughts rattling around in my head. So, thanks for listening, everybody. Take care. Goodbye.